Welcome back everyone, and today I'm going to show you just how you can make a ton of money with Fancy Birds. Now I know everyone has some concerns about the Fancy Birds earning article that just came out, but I'm going to show you exactly why it is not as bad as you might think. Welcome back to the channel where I'm Scoriox and I do the maths and you do that sweet degen, and as always, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, and please always do your own research. Like with anything in crypto, every single project is relatively speculative, okay? That is the point of it in a lot of ways, and eventually the space will mature, but always be careful. Now, at the moment, the Opensea listings and everything are going to fluctuate, so try not to panic sell or try not to FOMO, whichever way this goes down. But just know that I'm trying to give you as much information as I can. Okay, I'm not going to beat around the bush here. I'm going to jump straight into it as much as I can. The earning article was released today, okay? This is very simple. It tells you the launch date, which is Thursday, 2 p.m. EST, 6 a.m. for those in Australia on the Friday. I'm going to try and do a stream on that day and give my first impressions of the game, how difficult, easy it is, maybe the tournament, if that's running 24 hours after. I'm going to give my best first impressions I can, and I'll do updated videos down the line as well. But that'll be kind of the big chunk of it for Fancy for me this week, all right, guys? So as always, please don't forget to like and subscribe if you don't want to miss that stream. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have a lot of chats. We'll go through a lot of stuff. Who knows, maybe we'll find some glitches and bugs. That could be pretty funny. All right, we'll go to the next bits. And this article just outlines how much you can earn from the daily challenges, okay? At the moment, it's 9 FNC per bird and 12 per mutant bird. In my calculations, I haven't included mutants, and I apologize for that, but I just wanted to keep it for most people at the moment. Mutants were just overcomplicated. I didn't want to go too deep into it. I can do that if you guys would like. Please leave a comment, but you're just really adding about 20% on top of whatever I'm coming up with. Okay, so you've got that. You've got the weekly challenges for a total of 8 FNC per week. I stuffed that up in my calcs. I know the mutants get 4. Okay, yeah, so 6 FNC per week for most birds, all right? This I thought was a bit strange. I thought this should have been a lot higher than it is because it amounts to like under 1 a day, which seems a little bit strange from a weekly challenge. At the moment, that's pretty much my only gripe. I think the rest of it is okay. So the thing with this is a lot of people think a lot of these numbers that are coming out are really low for what a play to earn game should be earning. But there's so many ways to look at this and this system, and you can't really look at it with just a blunt vision of how much am I going to make, all right? It's not really about that. There's a lot to think about, not forgetting that the FNC token is the token for the entire Fancy ecosystem. Fancy Games is going to make a lot more games, and they've already announced that their second one is coming out in May, or at least the beta for it. And that's really exciting stuff. If they can release a game every 2 or 3 months, then that's a really big deal for the token and then anyone playing Fancy Birds. So I'm definitely going to hang on to mine and breed as much as makes sense. I'm going to explain kind of my strategy a bit later, but just so you know that there's a long-term play here. If you're just in it for short games, then this might not be the game for you. And I just have to put it bluntly like that, I'm afraid. It's just one of those things that you need to have a holistic approach to. Now, if we continue looking through the earning article, you've got a bunch of different UIs and things. I'm not really going to delve into that. There's daily missions. I think that one's pretty interesting. They're here, I think. Yeah, so this is a good example where you just earn 900, play for 900 seconds, score exactly 6. Exactly 6. That's interesting. Play 100 times and things like that. I think 100 times is a lot. They estimate about half an hour of playing time each day on average. Now, this is the problem I have with it, is half an hour is a long time for the amount of money you're making. And scholarships don't make a lot of sense at this point. We're going to see how that pans out and how that... they already adjusted the breeding numbers in the past, so we know they can adjust some of these figures. So we're going to have to see kind of how it pans out down the road. But here is another really interesting thing we should look at, is that 200k FNC total per day to all the baby birds is about 23,000 birds possible to be minted. So if there isn't 23,000, say you have 10,000 baby birds minted, that's 20 FNC each every day, which is about double what it currently is, which is a really big deal. And the other side of it is that only season 1 birds will earn FNC. There is another token coming down the road that the other birds earn. Okay, let's just think about that for a second. Besides staking rewards, and there's 40% of FNCs dedicated to in-game rewards, it will only be earnable by season 1 birds. That is very important. Okay, that means that when they have a dual token economy happening, FNC is going to be pretty much used to do everything, and therefore it's going to have a lot of money that needs to go into it for their economy to survive. And the other token, who knows what's going to happen with that, but the FNC token is not going to deflate all that much based on this current system. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm hoping that this helps the FNC token in the long run, which will help anyone earning from this game. If you think my numbers are ridiculous, you got to really start thinking about what that means for the game. And my numbers are a little bit ridiculous. Spoiler alert. They always are a little bit ridiculous. But I'll keep it grounded as well. Don't worry. That was kind of the main thing. You can use the FNC before it goes into your wallet in-game, and that will be used as an entry fee for tournaments and betting in multiplayer races of some kind. And we don't have a lot of information on multiplayer races, but I think that'll be really interesting. But the tournaments, it has like an inbuilt burning mechanic where you're burning FNC so that you can give out FNC. There seems to be a big focus on the tournaments themselves. The numbers seem quite low at a first glance, but that is like a baseline. So all of a sudden we could have a tournament one weekend that's 100K. So everyone's trying to enter, they're burning all the FNC, and then it's all been given to all the winners and things. So it's a focus on being good at the game and practicing the game, which does 2 major things. It deflates the token a lot less, and it gives out the tokens to those that are really good at the game, which I think is great. Obviously, you have the botting problem that would need to be solved. But they say they have a lot of bot preventing measures in place and things like that. So we'll see how it goes. Also, there's a lot less people that are flooding into it. Vivi has had a botting problem for a long time, but they've got millions and millions of users. That's obviously a much different sample size. Whereas this, you've got like 20,000 max, 30,000 max for the first 2 months. And most of them are owned by just like, you probably have 500, 600 people that are playing maybe. I mean, it's like maybe 1.5K holders on the thing. But yeah, that is not much at all. So botting, I'm pretty considerate that it might be easier to solve than some might think. So I'm a bit hopeful for that side of things. So let's have a look at my earning statistics. Now let's not have a look at that for a second. So right now, all I've done is I've put in the prices, daily earnings, weekly earnings, and everything. You can see a few of the major ones. You've got the current FNC price is about $0.50. This is all in USD, by the way, guys. You've got current circulating supply. That obviously is subject to change, but I'm going to leave it static for now. And you've got the market cap, which is about 20 million. I'm going to go into that in detail in a minute, all right? So you've got your daily tokens and weekly. And number of birds is what I put in for myself. I'll show you per 1 bird as well, so don't worry about that. And then you've got the tournaments. Now, this is the thing that I haven't really finessed all that much, but at the moment, I've got the prize pool amount of birds, which is 15% of all birds participating. Obviously, I've got this as all birds participating at the moment. And I've got a top cut and bottom cut, where the top half of the tournament are earning 70% of the rewards, and the bottom half of the tournament are earning 30% of rewards. And I can change this as I go as well, but that's kind of how I've split it at the moment. It's probably going to be more like the top 1% is going to be earning most of the rewards or something, but this is how I'm averaging it out for now so that we can get a better picture of how this might factor in, because I think the daily tournaments are the big piece of the puzzle here. If you're good and you're doing very well in them, I think you could really make a killing, especially with more than 1 bird. Imagine if you're good at the tournaments with 1 bird, and then you go out and everyone who's giving out scholarships wants to give it to you. They want to give you the scholarship because you're winning all the tournaments. So now you're winning the tournaments with 30 birds. All right, you're making a killing because you're doing well. Then everyone who's lending them out to you is also making a killing. And then maybe you're charging a premium. Maybe you're saying, oh, I want 80% of the rewards. I'm doing very well. You owe me this much. And the person who's giving out the scholarship is like, hell yeah, I'm still getting heaps of money because you're killing these tournaments, right? So this focus on the tournaments is one of those zero-sum games that's quite powerful. And this isn't perfectly zero-sum, but it's better than your Ponzi-nomics. Let's put it that way. If anyone doesn't know what that word means, leave a comment down below and I will tell you exactly how I'm defining it. Maybe I'll have to coin it. Someone probably already has it. Okay, so let's jump back into it. So at the moment, with one bird, your monthly earnings are looking at about $130 USD. For your bottom cut, where you're making it in the top 15%, but barely in the tournaments, you're earning about $147 every month. And for your top cut, where you're doing really well in tournaments, you could be earning $170, but as I said before, this is likely to be a lot higher. Now, I didn't actually factor in the one FNC as a ticket entry, so I'm sorry about that. But let's just assume you're only doing that if you're doing really well in the tournament. So it's not really a big deal. Now, the other thing I want to really quickly look at is the breeding. So with the Genesis, with the first breed, this is including both parties, there's 300 FNC, you're looking about 140. So every month, if you have 2 birds, you're earning about 2 breeds worth for their first breeds. For breed 2, a lot more difficult. But every month, if you have 2 birds, they're able to kind of hit out a few of those breeds really well. I can do a more detailed analysis on that if you guys want. But at the moment, it seems like breeding isn't going to quite keep up with the earnings until we learn more information. So definitely stay a bit cautious. That being said, you can get SFNC for cheap. On Quickstop, I made a tutorial about that, I think. No, I didn't. I can make a tutorial about that if I haven't. It's been a lot going on. I'm a bit lost sometimes. Okay. The last thing I want to look at is the other market caps. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to reach any of these tomorrow or any of them at all, but I want to take a look at them because let's say Bitcoin does really well over the next 6 months, Metaverse Tokens pump, Fancy Birds gets out the next 2 or 3 games and they're really good. A lot of these market caps are within play. That's all I'm saying. They're definitely reasonable. Now, we're going to look at the $100,000 market cap and see what that does to me if I have 3 birds. You ready? If I bring this up to $2.50, which brings me up to about 100K market cap, then for 3 birds, I'm earning about $2,000 every month. Wait, but there's more. What if I all of a sudden bred 3 more birds? And now I'm earning $4,000. That's a living wage right there. That's all it took to get to Smooth Love Potion after Axie Infinity kind of crashed its token down. And that's kind of where it's stable at the moment. To get to that point, which normally, obviously that's a lot of money. In crypto, not really. In crypto, speculative, up and down, whatever. Now, let's have a look if I triple that again. Actually, I got to quadruple it. And I get close to, what was it? The ultra price. Then for 6 birds, I'm looking at about 16K every month. Yeah, so you guys see where I'm going with this. Just for fun, let's do it with the Sandbox token price, okay? I don't know what exactly that is. Probably 70, 90 maybe. There we go. At $90, if this project overall took off in the way that Sandbox and Gala and things like that have, and this is at its recent lows, its all-time highs is like 8 billion market cap. But if Fancy Birds and Fancy Games took off, I could stand to make 150K with 6 birds every month. It doesn't even make sense to me, to be completely honest. I didn't actually expect those numbers. Sometimes I like to wing it and put them up as I go. But that's a lot, okay? So what I'm saying is, before you sell your birds, before you make any decisions, consider what I've said, especially at the start of the video, about what this means for the Fancy Birds token. It helps it not inflate. It gives it more demand and more excitement. And when future games come in, if the Fancy Games DAO becomes a large enough studio, you can make a lot of money off the season 1 birds in particular, because the other birds are going to use a different token. I can't predict that side of things, but I can predict this token side of things, not forgetting the DAO has to go through a vote to change anything. So hopefully we might actually be able to keep a lot of this stuff static. And if Fancy Birds does well, not even considering RevDiz at this point, if Fancy Birds does well, playing the game can net you quite a bit of money. And I think they're considering this when they're doing these figures. I think they're understanding that if they make it too high, they could just destroy the token, and no one wants that. Also, they plan on handing these out over 6 or 7 years. So we can wait 2 or 3 years until they're on top of the world with 50 arcade games on their project. I can wait that long. Can you? Hey everyone, thanks for watching the video. I hope that you'll watch that next video up in the top right hand corner. Or don't, but I really do appreciate it. Please like and subscribe down below. I'll catch you all in the next one.